Hi, have you ever imagined how you can do things and everything seems to work? Anything you touch, it just seems to work. It just seems to have favor surround you. You have been blessed in everything you do. This is why the Bible says, when a man's way pleases God, he makes even his enemies to give him things, to be at peace with him, and to even make ways for him. We've seen it in so many stories in the Bible. Remember when the children of Israel were leaving Egypt, God made the people, the Egyptians, to give them the best of their treasures. Do you want to have that kind of blessing? Join me in examining what Solomon did. In 1 Kings chapter 1, 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 3, from verse 3, I read from verse 3. By the way, this is the New Living Translation, in case you are following me reading your Bible. From verse 3 it says, Solomon loved the Lord and followed all the decrees of his father David, except that Solomon too offered sacrifices and burned incenses at the local places of worship. The most important of these places of worship was at Gibeon. So the king went there and sacrificed 1,000 burnt offerings. That night, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream, and God said, "What do you want? Ask, and I will give it to you." Now, we notice that Solomon did not just go to any place to make the sacrifice, right? He went to Gibeon, the place of worship at Gibeon. And what is significant about this? You see, before you worship God or you make sacrifices, you have to be in the presence of God. So that place of worship in Gibeon represents the presence of God. Remember, David took the ark. I want to build a tent for the ark, right? But there are some elements of the ark still at Gibeon. Now, the ark in those days represents the presence of God. So, just like you are going to a place of worship, a church, to worship, because you are going there because you believe God is present there. Well, these days, God is present everywhere. If you decide that you want to worship God in your closet, God will be present in your closet. And what makes the presence of God? God is present in the holy of holy places. So if you sanctify your closet or your bedroom as the holy of holy, God will be present there. Okay? So in those days, you have to go to a place that represents the presence of God. So that's why Solomon went to Gibeon and he sacrificed 1,000 offerings. So 1,000 burnt offerings. I mean, in those days, the way people give back to God is to make offerings, burnt offerings, right? And he did 1,000. Nobody had ever done that. So what happened after then? Then Solomon replied, "You showed great and faithful love to your servant, my father, David, because he was honest and true and faithful to you. And you have continued to show this great and faithful love to him today by giving him a son to sit on his throne. Now, O Lord, my God, you have made me king instead of my father David, and I am like a child who doesn't know his way around. And here I am in the midst of your own chosen people, a nation so great and numerous they cannot be counted. Give me an understanding heart so that I can govern your people well and know the difference between right and wrong. For who by himself is able to govern this great people of yours?" the Lord was pleased that Solomon has asked for wisdom. So God replied, because you have asked for wisdom in governing my people with justice, and have not asked for a long life or wealth or death of your enemies, I will give you what you have asked for. I will give you a wise and understanding heart, such as no one else has had or ever will have. And I will give you what you did not ask for, riches. No other king in the world will be compared to you for the rest of your life. And if you follow me and obey my decrees and my commands, as your father David did, I will give you a long life. This is what I called seeking the primary purpose for your life. Solomon was anointed as a king. His primary purpose as a king, what was it? To judge the people, right? To judge the people. And you remember the history of judges, right? Because God was the judge, was the king, and was the judge of the people before. And he used to relate with the people through prophets. That was what Moses represented then. Because it was recorded in the Bible that the hearts of men, and we know it these days, the hearts of men are consistently evil. Evil. How? Because they are not following what God asked them to do. They are worshiping other idols. They are not obeying God. So God had to seek some people out, some people that were unique, that were following Him, that have decided in their heart to follow God. And one of them was Moses. Before the people can relate with God, they had to go through Moses. When God wanted to relate to the people, He had to tell Moses what He wanted the people to do. So Moses was their judge. So the primary function of the king those days was to judge the people, to be able to point out what is right or wrong according to the commandment. And you know, when God finished the work of the universe, God said God rested. God rested why? Why did God rest? Because God set up the universe in an automated system called the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe. So the laws of the universe were set in place. Some of those laws are what we see in the 10 Commandments. You know, thou shalt not steal. You know, law of karma. And all the laws, most of the laws we follow these days, they were related to the laws of the universe, which God has set the universe to operate automatically. So God could continue to rest. Okay? And when there's any obstruction in the world, obstruction to the intention of God, you know, the universe adjusts itself, balance up what God has said it to be. That's for a later discussion. We have so many videos on that already if you are following our channel. And by the way, just to remind you to continue to follow us, hit the subscribe button, like our channel, and we also want your comments as well so that we can know what you enjoy and what else you want us to, how else you want us to serve you. So, going back to the story, Solomon realized that his primary purpose was to serve the people, to judge the people. So instead of asking for other things, like we saw, instead of asking for riches, right? For riches, for fame, for long life, like most people ask for, even this day, Solomon asked for the way he could serve his primary purpose, which is what? To please God by serving the people, he has been called to serve in his assignment. So our primary purpose for life, the reason why we are alive today, and why God is still blessing us, is because we still have an assignment to fulfill. And the assignment is in serving people in a kind of function which I normally call domain. Serving people according to our domain, according to our assignment, and thereby pleasing God. Because when we serve the people according to our domain, we are pleasing God, because that's the primary thing God has created us for. Okay, and that's exactly what Solomon did. So that, because Solomon acts according to his purpose to serve the people, it pleases God. And God did not only bless him in answering his prayers, he also blessed him in all the things he did not ask for. So, if you want continuous blessing, that whatever you touch, you just turn to gold, that you are blessed in everything you do, even things you did, you thought you were doing wrong, turn out to be a blessing to you, then you face your primary assignment. Your primary assignment is to please God and serve the people God has called you to serve in the assignment God has given to you, which I call the domain. If you can do that, you continue to have blessing everywhere, and I am a testimony to that. I found out by experience that whenever I'm doing things according to the purpose of my life, God is blessing, not only blessing me in that thing, but it's also blessing every other thing. Blessing my family, blessing my children, blessing my other businesses. And my wife also knew that by experience. That was a testimony for another day. You know, she knew that by experience, not by wisdom, by experience. And you know, when you learn something by experience, man, that's a great wisdom. Wisdom is profitable, yeah, by experience. You know, you never forget. Like I've learned by experience, when my father used to call me and into his bedroom and talk to me about life, about things, about marriage, when I was just a youth, about business, about everything. I was like, what is this man telling me everything about? But as I grew up, I realized that most of the things he told me that he was teaching me about were things that I had to use to make decisions in life, because I remember them. So, by experience, and I know that one of my primary assignments was to teach my children, and by extension, you guys watching me and following our channel, following me, to be successful in life. And that's why we're doing this recording. That's the only reason why we're doing this recording. Because we don't know who's going to use it. My children are going to use it. My children are going to use it. And you people too, your generations might tune to this channel one time and be able to get profitable wisdom from it. So going back to what we're talking about, how to get blessed in everything, because we are pleasing God and serving the people God has called us to serve in the assignment God has called us. And notice I say in the assignment, because everybody has unique assignment. So you might be serving God, but not in the assignment God has called you to serve. And we made, even myself, I've done that many years. I made a mistake. I'm concentrating my energy in the area God has not called me to serve. We're not saying you cannot volunteer in organizations. Yes, you can. But this should not be your primary area of service. You should serve in the primary area of service. That means you have to know your purpose and stick to your purpose. So if you are doing voluntary service, or you are doing service anywhere, or you are doing business anywhere, know that those are part-time. Those are just voluntary, or just call it part-time. Your full-time business or service should be in the primary area God has called you to serve. And a lot of people miss that. I missed it so many times. because I thought I could do this, I could do something. That okay, they call me, oh, come and head this department. Yeah, I could do it. Oh, I love marketing. I could help to increase the sales or whatever. And I could do very well in it. But that's not the primary area God has called me to serve. The primary area God has called me to serve is this assignment I'm doing today, whereby I'm helping people to discover their life purpose and to build a business in that life purpose, aligned to that life purpose, and dominate in those business. That's my primary assignment. Now, it was not very clear to me at first, but as I pursued the assignment, it became clearer and clearer. Now, if I go to do any other thing, it should just be part-time. I should always remember that this is my full-time calling, this is my full-time service, and I should spend most of my time, most of my resources, my time, energy, and money in this primary assignment. That's why I'm in front of you today doing this video, because this is my primary assignment. I'm passionate about it, excited about it. I don't care if somebody is paying me for it or not. I will continue to do it because that's my primary assignment. Okay? Just like Solomon did not care whether it was being rewarded in serving the people. He didn't care about that. It was God that added those things to him. He added riches, he added fame, he added long life to it. And when you read the story of Solomon, you see that he became the richest man in the world. He had big fame, and he had long life. So, and when we have done this, first to discover our purpose, secondly to concentrate on those purposes, thirdly to always pray for God to give us what? To give us the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, to be able to serve Him according to that purpose, thereby pleasing God. And once we know that, then we need to do it greatly, with a great purpose, a great mind, a great courage, a great energy, and a great persistent patience. We'll talk about this in our coming videos. So if you want everything you touch to turn to gold, remember that you have been created, and specially created for an assignment. Your primary prayer is to pray that God open your eyes to know that assignment, and as you know that assignment, to give you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to please Him by serving that assignment, by pursuing that assignment in the service of people He has called you to serve, specifically to that assignment. Hope you got something today. God bless.